Russia launched a ballistic missile attack on Sumy, 32 dead and 100 wounded, including children. The attack took place right after Vitkov flew to Moscow to talk about peace. Why is Trump trying to create the illusion of global security where there is none? And how does this free Putin's hands? We talk about this with Dmytro Topchiy, founder of Liberty Ukraine Foundation. Nice to see you, Dmitry.
Hello, nice to be here.
So, Vitkov flew to Moscow. Russia launched the ballistic missile attack on Sumy, resulting in a large number of victims and casualties. Before that, Dmytro flew to Washington, and Russia launched a ballistic missile attack on Kryvyi Rih. Is this coincidence of or a planned tactic of Russian terrorists? What is your opinion about this?
First of all, another cruel and heartbreaking terrorist attack in Ukraine. A lot of civilians killed. But we're still talking about peace agreement with Russia. Trusting Russians and believing in what they say means disrespecting yourself. Every time Ukraine and the civilized world makes a step forward for that peace agreement, Russia does attack Ukraine, and Russia kills Ukrainian citizens. I'm not sure why there are still politicians in the United States that still think that's the way, and that's the right way, and negotiations are going great, and everything, the peace agreement is very close. I think that Russians are actually just laughing at the entire civilized world. By doing what they do, by continuing killing people, they're not moving that peace closer anyhow. And the only way is strength, just to show Russians that that's not acceptable. And it cannot be that you talk about peace, but at the same time, with another hand, you're killing innocent people.
How do you assess Vitkov as a negotiator for achieving peace, given the rhetoric we heard from him after the meeting?
Honestly, I think that Vitkov should be replaced because for one very simple reason. He plays on the Russian side. He's trying to give everything to Russians. And let's go back to March 21st, when he had an interview with Tucker Carlson, another propaganda mouth of Russian Federation. And during that meeting, Vitkov said that Ukraine should be ready to give Russia the territory that supposedly Russians occupied by not even taking the main cities. And the reason for that, in his opinion, was that a lot of people speak Russian over there, and they had a referendum, and those territories are willing to be part of Russia. As far as we know, that's not true. And a referendum with a gun next to your head is not a referendum. I believe that was the first time and the only time when it was very clear that Vitkov would not be representing Ukrainian side, will not be acting in interest of Ukraine anyhow. He's only acting in interest of Russia and how to please Putin. After his recent meeting with Putin, he basically repeated the same thing, saying that Russia should, the fastest way for those peace negotiations would be Ukraine giving up on the territories that Russia is currently occupying, but also giving them those big cities as Kherson, Zaporizhia, Kramatorsk. Is that anyhow representing Ukrainian side? No. Are we giving everything to the aggressor and to the terrorist? Yes. That person should not be part of those negotiation talks.
Previously, the US reacted very strongly to Russia's ballistic strikes on Kryvyi Rih. Now, Kit Kellogg has started that the strike is crossing the acceptable line. Can you say that this strike will change the Trump's administration methods of cooperation with Russia, or can we expect that loyalty will end, and what methods can Trump use against Russia?
I will start with the question. Aren't we all really tired speaking about the acceptable lines, the red lines, while everyone is talking about those lines, Ukrainians are dying. Ukrainian cities are being bombed. I personally really tired of that. I'm really tired of talking about the acceptable lines. We want to see the actions. Russia does not respect any international law, any international agreements, or even any peace talks. So I would like to see the actions, and talking about the acceptable lines is not helping anymore. So we just need to wait and see. But if someone is still thinking that these peace talks are a great way of punishing Russia or making sure that Russia stops, I think they fooling themselves. It's more about strengths again.
Okay, I'll continue with the peace talks. The ceasefire talks are going well, Trump says, and it looks at least cynical. Is Trump really so optimistic about Russia despite the real situation with the so-called good progress in the peace talks?
Being inside the U.S. now and being in the U.S. for the past 15 years, I could tell you what's happening right now. Basically, Trump administration is creating two different universes and realities. So one of them is his team is doing an amazing job negotiating that peace agreement, making sure that people are not dying. Because he repeats this every time on social media, saying that he cares about thousands of people, innocent people that are dying in this cruel war. But at the same time, he keeps saying that negotiations are going amazing, everything is great, and they're making the progress. And that's what they're trying to sell to most of his supporter base, to tell people that he's doing a great job. In reality, we know it's completely opposite. These peace talks, they didn't bring any progress. They didn't bring any even potentially positive results for Ukraine. But at the same time, we're getting cruel attacks on civilians, one after another one. As you said, Sumy, and on a daily basis, all other Ukrainian cities. I don't think that Trump is optimistic. I think we're still creating a vision that is not true, and just to make sure that he portrays himself as a peace negotiator, a successful one. But in reality, it's not going anyhow well.
Trump called on Putin to move faster on the eve of the meeting with Vitkov. How can the American team present the negotiation process before Trump's 100 days in office when it is clearly not a win-win for the American side?
I mean, as I said, they basically creating the illusion. Right. So if Vitkov is currently saying that the only way forward and the only kind of a highway forward would be Ukraine giving up on territories, that's how Trump's team, how Trump negotiation team sees the success in those negotiations. So basically achieving something, it doesn't matter if it's anyhow serves the interest of Ukraine or Ukrainians, but achieving something to claim that he won this negotiation process. I don't think his team really cares about Ukraine or really cares about Ukrainians, because how it looks at the moment that we're doing everything possible to please the aggressor. So if Trump, I'm pretty sure Trump's team understands that there is no easy way over here. There is no way that we would be able to have this agreement with Putin at the moment, because Putin doesn't need that peace. As far as we know, they're actually just increasing the attacks on Ukraine. They're increasing the activity on the front lines. They're just trying to get as much territory as possible. So that's not the way how you do the peace talks. So for Trump, he understands the only way is to make some kind of a ceasefire that he would claim as a victory for himself and his political agenda. But in reality, we all know that it's not. That it's not. It's just we're getting ourselves, Ukrainians, in a situation when two other powers are deciding our fate, and that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable anyhow. But unfortunately, that's the way that Trump is doing his business right now.
So once again about hope. At the same time, after the Vitkov meeting in Russia, Trump said that you have to put up or shut up. Can we hope that Trump's patience has run out, and can we expect pressure measures on Russia from the United States?
We all know that Trump, he likes to put the show, and especially in front of his supporters, and that's what he's known for. Those big words, big phrases, that's what he does. Can we say that he is running out of patience with Putin? I don't think so, because if that would be the case, Vitkov would bring something else to Moscow during that meeting with Putin, and there was going to be something different, right? But we hearing completely different rhetoric, and it's not sounds like something that someone is being annoyed or mad with how the process goes. Again, it's interesting to see the reality. While Vitkov is meeting with Putin in Moscow, our allies is meeting in Ramstein, actually discussing the possibility of providing more and more weapons for us to protect ourselves. And we actually got them. We got another package, military support package from all of the allies, while United States is actually having a direct conversation with Putin and pleasing him. So that's a pretty rhetorical question: who is trying to help Ukraine and who doesn't really care about the future of Ukraine?
A little about economic and political component. Tariffs against Russia have not been directly introduced, but duties against China indirectly affect the Russian Federation. Oil prices are also fallen. Can we hope that Trump has his own strategy for influencing the Kremlin that is not being talked about in the information space?
Look, I personally think the entire situation with tariff is affecting the worldwide economy. So we're talking about global oil prices going down, not only Russian oil. It's affecting the entire economy. And of course, if we're talking about China and imposing tariffs on China and the trade war between U.S. and China, it will definitely affect Russians as well, because we're all kind of a part of the entire big global economy. What we've been hearing lately from Trump on his potential business matters with Russia, a lot of people around Trump cannot wait to start doing business with Russia. So I don't really think that we're talking about some secret agenda towards Russian Federation. I think as of now, it's also about pleasing Putin and making sure that at some point, U.S. will be able to start doing business with Russia again on a full scale. But we need to be very clear. We've been here before. We've been talking about imposing sanctions and economical pressure on Russia. But we realized it's not working on its own. Only combination of economical sanctions, economical pressure on Russia, plus the military strength would affect Russia. At the moment, we're facing Russian Federation with the help of other not friendly countries to us, right? We're talking about China, support from China, North Korea, Iran. So Russians are ready for economical sanctions, and of course it's going to be tough, but they will not back down without a military component, a military strength component that Ukraine should have.
Okay, so Trump recently started that he would be happy to meet with his friend Xi, but the initiative should still come from the Chinese side. China responded with headlines in its media, noting that we are going all the way. How do you see the development of US-Chinese political and economic relations, and how can this affect the global economy?
It's already affecting regular Americans in the United States. If you look at their savings accounts and their investment accounts, because of the entire market going down. The entire idea of trade war with China would not bring any positive results to the United States or to China. A lot of financial analysts actually trying to alarm the entire United States by saying that we will get into big trouble, and that's going to affect basically everything in the United States. Gambling with Chinese side and expecting they're going to back down, it's not realistic. What their top diplomats said that they don't really care about U.S. sanctions. They are relying on themselves, and they're relying on their own markets. They're relying on the markets of their region. So I don't think that's going to be anyhow a quick war, and I don't think that Trump is really happy with the outcome of this gamble, and he's realizing that China will be a tough opponent. But as we know, I think there's a bigger picture to what's going on with the tariffs and what's going on with manipulation of the markets. It's pretty disgusting what's happening right now, and it's pretty disgusting what's going to be happening, and the result that regular people will start feeling all over the world. But unfortunately, these people are making those decisions, and we just need to get ready for something getting actually more worse than this.
I would like to touch on an important event, the Rammstein format meeting. The US didn't chair the last meeting. Isn't this an indirect hint that the that the US will take a more passive position in the work of the Rammstein group? What is your opinion, and how ready is Europe to defend itself against the Russia threat?
Absolutely, that's a very pretty nice visual symbolization of the fact that United States getting on the back seat. They're not being as active as before. I would like to also to add to this Rammstein situation. The United States are actually withdrawing troops from Rzeszów Airport. As far as you know, Rzeszów Airport, Yasonka Airport, been the main military hub for the entire military aid that was coming from all our allies, and it's in East Poland. And until now, there was a base, American base, at that airport, and it was crucial for the entire logistical process to make sure that military aid that comes to that airport is being transferred to Ukraine as soon as possible. So now Americans are leaving the airport, and now we're expecting that European armed forces, one of their European armed forces, will actually take place, American place instead of them. But altogether, that actually shows the entire approach of American side and their approach to the fact of showing military presence or military support or military position in terms of supporting Ukraine. That's unfortunately very sad, but at least it is in line with what Trump is saying and what his team is doing in terms of Ukraine. That's a reality that we need to deal with. That's a reality that we need to adapt to as soon as possible. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble. But that's also, I'm expecting that European allies will step up, and they're all actually already stepping up, but provide more help, because that's definitely in their best interest to make sure that Ukraine is strong, Ukraine is continue the fight and not letting Russians move any further to the west.
Okay, being realistic, given current events, can we count a new package of support from the Trump administration?
Absolutely not. And there was a lot of official talks from Speaker of House of Representatives Mike Johnson when he been asked that question, and the response was it's not anyhow in visual proximity to discuss any other military help. He said that we need to focus on the peace talks. So for the United States, for Trump administration, military aid is not priority anymore. But to be honest, it's still continuing. We're still getting military support from the United States. But to expect a new package after this one is done, it's not realistic, and I don't see this happening in the current situation.
Dmytro, thank you for this conversation. I'd like to ask our viewers to mark this video with like sign, so press the button like under this video. In your comments, please write your opinion about our conversation with Dmytro, and let me remind you that Dmytro Topchiy, the founder of Liberty Ukraine Foundation, was with me on the stream. Thank you.
Thank you so much.